Happy New Year. Rocco's not amused. I just woke him up for this. What's up, buddy? Happy New Year. You made it. What's going on, everyone? It is Thursday, January 2nd, 2025. Coming at you with the first episode of the trading trends for the year. We're going to do a little bit stocks today instead of the ETF world. Some crazy stocks movers today we'll take a look at. Focusing on the charts, not so much on the news as some of this gets crazy. Well, you'll see what I mean when you go on some of these charts. Some massive rippers. Hope you've been enjoying my Investopedia chart advisor writings this week. That was all in the ETF space, basically a rundown of the top 15 trades of 2024. And to be honest, a lot of them were some of the best trades in 2023, and I see that trend continuing for the most part in 2025. Maybe some don't have the same breakneck speeds they did, but if you look at IGV and then software and specific like tech, not just broad XLK, but some of the more concentrated ones, obviously with exposure to semiconductors, even after they peaked in July, they really crushed it this year. So nothing to me has changed in terms of Bitcoin areas to be in. You want to be in Bitcoin, you want to be in semiconductors. I think you're getting it on sale right here. It may test your patience for a little bit, but I think you'll be profitable soon enough. Still want to be in the mega cap game. Concentration of the top 50, top 100. This is where you've wanted to be for the past several years, especially as the AI flywheel continues. So only so many firms have the wallets to really get engaged in this new technology. So you really want to lean into the biggest and strongest, in my opinion, with those massive free cash flows and those moats. The firms I'm talking about. And then I'm starting to dabble. I bought some airlines today in terms of the Jets ETF. And then I shorted some Brazil to try and offset some of the portfolio. Brazil, the weakest market last year globally in 2024. Right behind it, pretty much was South Korea, and behind that also was Mexico. So if you're looking for some weak areas, it'd be that. Okay, so let us zoom in here. A pretty gloomy graphic. I like what was generated here. So colorful. Let me share it. It reminded me of Halloween. I thought cool. I like Halloween, but it's just funny coming out of Christmas. Ooh, ominous. So what happened was today was GM. It's pretty interesting. GM, Apple, Nike all fell about 3.5% today. We'll look at all the charts. And then Constellation Energy got a big rip, 9% higher. It was on government contracts. I think a massive win for CEG. So this is why this is happening. Nike. We'll take a look at these charts. Apple, a big move down today. We'll take a look at everything. All right. So further ado, that's me. Let's get rolling here this year. And yeah, as I said, so we're going to be doing stocks. I'm mixing up. I'm doing stocks. I'm going to be doing ETFs this year. I'll try to do like an every other type thing. Is my intent. And also I'm leading a webinar for the CMT Association Wednesday afternoon. It is free. I think you even earn credits if you're in the CMT if you get on it. I'm not sure. But you can go to cmtassociation.com for more on that. I'll be doing it Wednesday at noon. It'll be pretty much like this show. I'm going to focus on the ETFs. Okay. So let us get involved. So what were the big movers today? I do this, of course, by standard deviation. So surprise moves. We'll start with the gainers. The big one here was Constellation Brands up a whopping 9%, 8.5% today. For all these charts, obviously that was the intraday move. I'm going to look at the longer chart, right? So to really give us a context. And apologies if some of these charts are going to be wonky. I put it out right at 4 o'clock. We'll see what happens. I see what comes in, and then I analyze them right here live with you guys. So as I look at the CEG chart, beautiful looking chart. I mean, I did a lot of work this past week looking at the top winners of 2024. It's interesting to me. The names, S&P didn't buck below its 200-day moving average one time. It got close within 2% on the Yen Mageddon here. The Nikkei crash on August 5th. I kind of like seeing big dates for last year, by the way, were August 5th. They came in the second half. There was a big flush too in mid-April when we were really acknowledging that higher for longer. It affected most stocks. But really two, massive, important dates was August 5th and then November 5th. I mean, it just happens that they were on the same, number of the calendar date. But it was pretty important. You want to see what happened with your equity there. Most did Trump, ironically, go below, rather, the 200-day moving average on August 5th. Many names did. If your stock did, it's, okay, not the sign of an absolute loser. Bitcoin went under the 200-day moving average through ETFs, not the actual BTC USD. But a lot of the ETFs, which are still strong performers, went under on August 5th. Some had a 6-week period of trying to recover. I'm thinking of GBTC, and then it's recovered very well. And then, of course, election day, you want to see that a lot of the names are still holding those gaps, ideally. So without all that, seeing all that, this chart looks great. If you're in CEG, again, that's an electric utility company. They're on the larger side, $70 billion. They do a lot of stuff in the Mid-Atlantic, New York, Midwest as well. Great looking chart. The high came in October. Personally, for the next, I like the candle today, obviously. Well, let me move that box away. Yeah, a strong name here. Only overbought minus leading into that August crash. It did get oversold, and still strong, though, because it didn't really trade for more than a day. It actually closed above the 200-day moving average when it traded below on August 5th. So super strong performer. This name also IPO'd as a spinoff. I know this because I used to hold this name from a subsidiary. So this is its own entity as of like 2 years ago. I like this name. I think this has room to rally in the near term to about 255. Really right where this Bollinger Band ends right here. You probably get some vol expansion given today's candle. So another $12 or so, whatever percent that move is. It's about, I'm looking at another 5% of upside in this over the next week or so. May have some give back tomorrow because it was such a big move, but this candle is pretty strong. We closed at the highs, a line of buyers here. I think this heads to 255 in the next week to 2 weeks. Great looking chart. Trying to see where I'm hesitating right here in terms of like, do I want to chase it? Do I want to play it? I do like it. It's also utility, so you get different allocation in terms of just straight buying straight beta, buying NVIDIA and Microsoft and Apple. Apple we'll get to in a second. But yeah, a good one if you're expecting, a couple, another 5% of this. I think you're going to get it in the next week or two. All right. Next. So this one's crazy. We're going to get to some of the crazy ones. So GRRR was on the radar. It was up a whopping 32% today. Let me go on a 1-year chart. This stuff is crazy. I don't even know what these guys do, but I know there's volume behind it. And that's why we're looking at it. So they're in software. They do solutions, Internet of Things. They're mostly in APAC, it says, and America as well. Business intelligence, security solutions, blah, blah, blah. Very small company. Let me open that with that. It's a $200 million company, very tiny. Don't know what the news was today, although they had more volume a couple of days ago. So it's not, the end, I don't think. But this thing's been overbought. In short, December 5th, it came down for a little bit of air. But ever since it went across the 200-day moving average, which is 5, the thing's gone up to 23. So this is just crazy. It's hard to apply technical analysis on this kinds of crazy stuff. Obviously, it's in buy mode, and you really did fine if you ignored this thing till Thanksgiving, and then you hopped in. I don't know what the news is. We'll look at some other things. There's like Rigetti computing, which we'll look at, I think, in a little bit. Sometimes the algos just find something that it likes. Computing is in the name, or quantum, and then they just buy it. It goes up grossly. But this one, this thing's been overbought for about, I'll forgive this period. But this started its overbought period December 9th. Today's January 2nd. Givebacks can bring this thing down to about $13, and that's just crazy to say. It's 24 basically now. So just highlighting it. I'm not touching this. This looks crazy. Does it go up? I mean, look at this candle here. They're just, I don't know what to say. When you move 35% in a day on a $200 million company, this probably shouldn't even have made it through my parameters, but some of you guys are cracked out. So I give you what you want. NXT, this I believe is a larger company. NXT up 8% today, a big move. They do electrical equipment. This is a $5 billion company, so this is legitimate. These guys do energy solutions, provide solar tracker and software solutions for utility scale generation solar projects. So like I said, a $5 billion company of $3 billion revenue, not too shabby. Overall, an ugly chart. It looks like this, they were doing okay up until this earnings. The report August 1st. And then, of course, we know, and again, it happened later that week. These guys ended up going to a 52-week low, Halloween week, all the way down to 31. Not really sure what propelled this today, but to be honest, this move to me started the week before Christmas on about the 20th, when the bottom here about $33, and it's going to 39. So 6 points in just about 2 weeks. A little bit too rich for my blood. Yeah, heavy 200-day moving average here at $43. Yeah, this one had a nice rally off 33, and now it's gone to the upper Bollinger Band, and it doesn't really live above it or outside of the Bollinger Bands much. So I think this may have a little bit more to go in terms of the bullishness to maybe $41. Just crazy names like this. If it catches animal spirits, it can happen. But maybe like 40. Just it's a good looking candle today. Maybe have a little. Obviously, it's up 8%, right? Maybe goes to 40, 41, and then I wouldn't be shocked if this has get back to about $37. So always, I mean, be careful with these names. All right, so these were the big up moves of the day. In case you didn't know, the market was down today, depending on what index you had, but SPY was basically down 0.25%. So, and there was a lot of large cap names that got sold. So these may be the names that more so are held in your portfolio that you care in. So GM had a big move down by about 3.5%. You're going to get, much more clearer charts here in terms of, not $200 million companies. But this looks like it had a nice run off of these lows here, right around $50. It had a nice move to 55. I mean, that's a 10% move. Don't forget, this is a $60 billion company. They have, honestly, 3 times more of that in revenue. So obviously problems within the firm in terms of, cost expenditures and whatnot. Not the best long-term debt to equity on a company like this in the automobile biz. But GM hit the 52-week high Thanksgiving week at $61. Yeah, I thought this was going to spend a little bit more time basing around its 21-day exponential moving average. I thought it was going to tussle basically around 53 a little bit longer. Right here is 53 where my cursor is. And then it gave back pretty harshly today. Tesla was down as well today. I think we'll take a look at that chart in a little bit. But going back to the overall, nice chart. Again, August 5th, what happened? It dipped on the 200-day moving average, pretty typical from many firms when, the world was very, very scared that day with the whole yen carry trade, yen-mageddon, as they call it. And then we had overbought conditions October 22nd. Then you had it again into November, and now we're going a little bit lower. I don't love this name over the next 2 weeks, but the downside for me is right around 49, even maybe a 49.5. So I do think this gives way and goes lower. If I was desperate for a short, maybe you could buy, like 51 in the money puts, for like January, February, if that's listed. I don't love this one here. I think it gives back a little bit, but still holding its 200-day moving average. So that one to me looks more of a higher probability trade. I think that was a rejection here on December 27th, and we've been going lower ever since. And today was a big candle. I think this wants to get to 50. Okay, and I think it's going to happen over the next 2-ish weeks. All right, next, Apple, a company literally everybody owns, just due to its concentration in the S&P 500. So Apple, interesting story this year. It's really, everyone was saying, when is it going to happen? Are people buying the iPhones for Christmas? Blah, 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 whatever. December 2nd, this thing's been overbought for about a month, and then it started giving way just last week. So it peaked the day after Christmas at 260. All right, and then now we're all the way back to 243. But this didn't, again, look at what I said, the big important dates. August 5th, fine. I mean, these guys have a treasure chest, basically, of cash. So no problem there. This wasn't really an attractive investment until the May earnings. And then we finally started to base in Apple. If you remember, this was not, the 52-week low came 419. So it was not doing well. And it touched, traded to 164 then. And then once it's reclaimed, that May earnings, honestly, was super important. From what they reported $1.53 then. I can actually see just how much they bet. Yeah, so the estimate was 151. They reported 153. That 2-cent beat and the guidance that they gave was really encouraging to investors, because ever since then we've held the 200 moving average and it's risen, and we've only recorded nothing but overbought conditions. So great stuff in that regard. I bought some mega cap tech today, in different portfolios. I think if you get this around 240, I like it there. Again, 240 was levels just first discovered for the first time in July, and when it's had its bull run essentially. So I like entering here around 240. Semis are on sale. A lot of the mega cap tech has come down quite a bit. I like buying this under 249. We'll see how it goes, but I do like an entry point here. And I think your downside's about $4, and I think your upside's about $6. So that's the risk reward I'm working with on that in the short term. And Nike, next one. So again, Apple was down 2.6 today, a big move. And then another big move lower was Nike. Similar, down 2.6, actually the exact same. Ugly chart for Nike. Just costs, China labor, you name it, direct to consumer isn't working as well as they'd hoped. Amazon eating their lunch, Lula, whatever. You can make up any reason, not make up, but you can look it up. But what I'm seeing here is a 52-week low, really ugly chart, was in February, and this was still under the 200-day moving average, which has been declining the entire time. This almost reminds me of nat gas, where it rides up to the 200-day moving average, and it looks like the best it gets is on earnings. Look at this. The E signifies earnings and then down. Earnings and then down. Earnings close to the 200-day moving average, which is the black line, and then down. Earnings didn't even do that, and then down. So to me, do not want to own this. If you're not familiar, Nike is obviously they make shoes, apparel, everything. They're a $112 billion company on $50 billion revenue. So, not horrendous commercials, but the company's definitely had better days. I like this one to base around 73. I don't think your risk reward is horrendous in the down in the short term. Again, the lows came on August 5th. This was a name that bucked the trend. It got all the way, I'm rounding, but essentially to $71. I think this base is around 73. And I think you get a pop to about 77. So there's probably better trades out there. So I see a little bit, this was an ugly day for it. Potentially a little bit more of the descending, and then a rally towards 77, and that would probably be your trigger to sell. This one does not look like a name I want to enter. In fact, if this were to get some sort of crazy rally to 81, I doubt it, because it's 10% more from here. I would love to short this, but it doesn't look great right here. Okay, top 3 gainers the past 5 days. Let's see what we got. Some of these are crazy. Okay, so the past 5 days, obviously today's Thursday. I'm counting the past 5 sessions, so this goes to the, tail end of last week. I'm sure you've heard of this name, Rigetti. I thought it was like a pasta. Rigetti Computing, up 73% in the past 5 days. So for all you guys that are cracked out, this thing looks to me like it really started trading volume. This looks like almost like a SPAC. I'm not really super familiar with this, but it looks like this started trading around Thanksgiving week, around this $2 level, and now it's gone from 2 to 19. Of course, it has quantum, or it has computing in the name. You'll see what's up with the next issue I have too. The word quantum is in the name. But here is Rigetti Computing. Just a little bit about it. It is they build quantum computers and superconducting quantum processors. They are a $3 billion company on almost no revenue. They have $12 million revenue. So nothing in a $3 billion valuation. Pretty awful financials. Terrible price to book, terrible price to sales. But people are obsessed with the technicals on this due to the relative strength and just the volume trend, the price trend. Whoops, it would help if you saw it. So essentially, since I talked about that date, this thing's been overbought since Thanksgiving. It's crazy. It closed that day at essentially $3. I'm giving you kind of the high there as well. And it's been a 6-bagger since then in a month. So these are crazy things. The pullbacks for this, this could easily take you back to $11, which would be, a horrendous. This was up 31% today. Don't even care to check the news on that. You could do it if you like, but crazy charts. This one hitting 52-week high today. You can chase if you want. That's absolutely craziness. But do know that on any kind of a pullback, this could easily come back to $11 to $13. But yeah, this name has been a hot one. It's the top gainer of the past 5 days, up 73% in 5 days. Absolutely insane. The next name, great returns, not anything like that, but it has quantum in the name. QMCO, Quantum Corp, up 17% in the past 5 days. Long wick here, long shadow. Looks like it got denied, Dikembe, as we say, on the 27th. It went to $91, and this thing's going all the way back to 56. So let me put this up here. QMCO. What do these guys specifically do? So they're in the tech, hardware, and storage game, digital video, and unstructured data globally. Very small company, 260 million on pretty much equal revenue. So, a growth story. Yeah, this thing looks like a SPAC too. Essentially, this only started trading in November 22nd, I see. Is that actual? Yeah, that's what I see here. So again, it got up over that 200-day moving average. This is craziness. I mean, a give back could take you to $40. Don't like that shadow here. When a stock trades from 90 to 65 that day and then it closes at 70, not swell. Looks like the high was in for that moment. And then a hard sell, an aggressive selling day on New Year's Eve. And then today, flat up 1%. These names have a lot of volatility. So it's different when you're charting, Apple, and when you're obviously doing, some craziness micro cap like this. But yeah, I mean, if you're crazy and you have animal spirits in the market and you think you just want to buy something that's moving, this is one of those things. I'd rather wait for it to pull back to potentially $40. I think you might get that chance. And then sounds crazy. And then maybe it gets back to 76, which is, last I checked, a double. So absolutely crazy. Moving on here, LUNR. What are these guys? These guys are bigger. You guys may have seen or heard of them. They're Intuitive Machines. This thing's up 16% in the past 5 days, up 6% today. Let me see if there's any meat on this bone. These guys are aerospace and defense, so not just, the quantum stuff, I don't think. Space products and services in the United States. They want to support a sustainable human presence on the moon, so more of that Occupy stuff. And this is a $3 billion company off of $200 million revenues. This looks like it's had an extraordinary run from mid-December, okay? I kind of see it from here, like $12 going to 21, getting rejected. Essentially just not rejected, but it went as high as 21 today, and then it closed at 19. I would just calm yourself. I would wait for a pullback. I'm patient with these kinds of crazy names because you do get the pitches, if you swing at the right one. So I think it's pull back to $15. And then, I mean, not a bad name though. It's found its legs underneath it, especially since August. That's it on that. All right, some of the big caps. Top 3 losers of the past 5 days as we wind down here. I only have 3 tickers left. Tesla down 18% in the past 5 days. Today was 6% of that, so a third of the move came today. Ugly trading since the highs the week before Christmas. We're actually going under a 50 RSI for the first time since before the election, so before the whole Trump-Musk boom. So pretty impressive, or, depressive, if that's a word. They had delivery numbers, and I don't think they wowed people last night. And that's explaining the 6% down move in Tesla. But if you saw this, there was a long line to get in. So this was when Trump was elected, and obviously everything with Musk. And then there was about a 5-day rally of being overbought, and then it got back up again on the 6th, recording those overbought conditions, and it was about a 12-day of being overbought. It was up literally every single day except one out of those 12 days on the 12th. So just buy, and then it peaked on the 18th. I think all of mega cap tech, a lot of it is looking attractive right around here. I think you're actually getting an opportunity if you were desiring to be long Tesla. My level was, and when it was back here, people thought it was craziness. Wait for it to come in a little bit. If you buy this under 410, you're getting it on sale, in my opinion, under the 21-day exponential moving average. This thing's had great flows, only overbought, hasn't been in the past several months if it's applied to an overdone condition. And last oversold was in April, which was the 52-week low. So the tides have changed for it. It was range bound essentially July to October, and then the election really, really helped things. Not saying stuff for solar in general. I don't think I'm a fan of that camp. I still think solar doesn't do so well. I'm saying this more so on the Musk-Trump relationship until, I guess, who knows, maybe they have a public fallout or something. But this has come a lot in a short distance. The 200-day moving average just finally started to rise on election day after those big inputs came in, and your support is back there at 240. So all that being said, if you can get this at around, I think it's probably going to base around like 360 potentially. This is an ugly candle. I wouldn't be shocked if it gets to about 360, and to me that would be an invitation to buy, because I think you can get a quick pop, especially if you get, like I said, animal spirits and a rally in markets. This thing's going back to 410. So I already bought, like I said, Medcap Tech today in terms of shares. Tesla was a part of that basket. But yeah, I think this one's looking ripe here if you want to get on board that. All right, continuing. Let's go. Microstrategies was next one, down 17% in the past 5 days. Today was up 3.5%. Again, this one peaked the week before Thanksgiving. This hit 543. Did Microstrategies. Yeah, similar to Bitcoin. This one does not look so great here. MicroStrategy specifically, I don't love. If you want to get long Bitcoin, I just get long Bitcoin, IBIT or GBTC. But your rising 200-day moving average is 196 here. I like to round. And that is, it's an important level. MicroStrategies was underneath that 196 level all the way up until it's recorded its first overbought conditions in early mid-October. And of course, what happened with the election. It catapulted this to new highs. I think this is basing here kind of similar in terms of a relationship of what I was saying in terms of Tesla getting on sale. I think if you get this around, I mean, it sounds crazy. If you like this name, you want to play Sailor and everything. Ugly. I mean, up today was rebounding a little bit. We'll see if those lows held, right? The low on New Year's Eve was 285. I was just saying, if you get around 285, that's a steal. I think getting this under 350 due to the extreme move it's had would be beneficial if you want to take on that risk. There are better ways to play crypto, though, in my opinion, than this. But this looks like it's almost done bottoming. I think if you get this, around 300, like right here, I think it's a good position. I think this gets towards 340 in the next 3-ish weeks. So that would be, a 10% or so gain. But again, I'd rather play Bitcoin itself direct. All right, and the last one. So MicroStrategy's tough week. So Tesla down 18% in the past 5 days. MicroStrategy's down 17% in the past 5 days. And the last one, Super Microcomputer, not as bad, but down 12% in the past 5 days. Let's take a look. This one, really ugly chart. I know some people really, because the NVIDIA was starting to slow down due to its rapid growth, and people were starting to really want it to essentially snort and get all cracked out in Super Microcomputer, and then all the auditing scandal and whatnot happened, and now this thing's just a loser. And really, things coincided. It just happened to be the week of Yemageddon, but these earnings for it on August 6th, what an ugly day that whole week, and then the lows came for this group November 15th at $17. So in terms of the fundamentals of Super Microcomputer, well, if that even exists, that sentence, but this is an $18 billion company on $15 billion revenues. I don't think they're a scam or anything, but there's better players, on the block, I would say. Taiwan Semi, Broadcom, if you want to play, so this one also is more on the server and storage solution side. But people did pile it in with NVIDIA when this happened. If you're crazy and you want to take a chance, I could see taking a flyer on this. I don't really love it, but I'm just talking about the charts here. I think this has already, from about December 9th, I think this has given back quite a bit. So from this $48 print on December the 9th to where we are currently at $30, that's quite a move in 3 weeks. It looks a little bit overdone. It could go a little bit lower, potentially to about $28. I'm not going to say that's out of the cards. But after that, I do see a bit of a move towards $33 to $34. So that'd be a 10% pop from here. So again, in case you haven't, put it all together, there's, different volatilities for these names. GM versus a Rigetti Computing versus a Super Micro versus Apple. So position size accordingly, that is really the key. And yeah, good to join you in the top 3 trades of the past 5 days. So if you were long Rigetti computing, I know some of you are. I hope so. I might look at it, but yeah, it's up 73% in the past 5 days. That's the absolute crusher of all single stocks above, $15 and with actual volume. And then to the downside, shorting Tesla was your second best trade of the past 5 days. So if you're long there, it hurts. That's down 18%. And then the other was if you were along that QMCO up 17% or short MicroStrategies down 17. Those were your plays. All right. I will be back tomorrow with a end of week recap, and we will be doing back in ETF land to see how this week is shaken up. All right. Happy New Year and peace.